Hi, I'm making this video review for Season 2, Round 9 of the Astrocade High Score Club to earn a bonus point. This round ends on Sunday, August 20th, 2017 at 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which as of this recording is in just a few hours. The two main games are on one cartridge, Grand Prix and Demolition Derby. I actually made a review for those games and uploaded that to YouTube earlier today. The basic bonus game is Sideswipe. While I've been making these videos and playing in the High Score Club, I've actually really grown to love playing them and recording these videos because it's a way, I would never play this basic game otherwise. This round's basic bonus game is a straightforward racing game called Sideswipe. It's one that I expect that nearly every Astrocade user who owned AstroBASIC in the 1980s probably played because it was reprinted in the AstroBASIC Owner's Manual. It's an early effort by Mike Peace, who wrote all of the WaveMakers games. This was originally published on page 69 of the October 1980 issue of Cursor for Bally Basic, but the programs are probably nearly identical, although Bally Basic runs a little slower, so it's probably, it runs a little faster in AstroBASIC, which is the version you'll be seeing here while you watch this video. If you take a look at this picture here, you can see that Sideswipe looks very, very basic, and it's a very early basic game, and because of that, they are just using most of the commands that are built into BASIC, not trying to use the machine language routines that are built into the Astrocade Basic ROM, which many of the programs did much later. Cursor's directions for this game, Sideswipe, are pretty brief. They are: your goal is to steer your car through and around other vehicles on the road at the same time making sure you don't hit the sides of the road. Your car is one up with the broken boxes at the top of the screen. I'm not sure why it calls them broken boxes. It looks like wheels. The road moves up toward you from the bottom of the screen. Mike, as usual, has done a very thorough job using very limited memory. This program uses some interesting sounds and a unique method of movement. Use hand control knob number 1. Well, those are the brief instructions from Cursor. And in 1981, Sideswipe was reprinted in the AstroBASIC Owner's Manual on page 89. Here are the directions for the game from that manual. They're actually even briefer. The car appears on top of the screen moving toward the bottom. Steer your car using knob 1, obstacles as they approach. Top score is 100 points. You lose 3 points for each sideswipe and 10 points for each collision. And the difference is, if you graze a car, like on the side, which is a sideswipe, it's not as bad as hitting a car head on. Eventually, in 1982, I think, Sideswipe was included with 3 other programs on WaveMakers Tape 12 called 4 Famous Freebies. What that allowed you to do is pick 4 programs from a menu, and you could play the games from that way. Here's a picture of both sides of the tape. 1 contains Castle of Horror, while side 2 contains 4 basic freebies. Besides Sideswipe, this tape contained 3 other basic programs that originally appeared in different newsletters. Brick in the Wall, which was like a breakout clone, appeared in the June 1982 issue of the Arcadian. Invasion Force, which is a very simple Space Invaders type game, appeared in the July-August 1981 issue of the Basic Express, which was actually a rename of another newsletter called Cursor. And Maze Maker appeared in Cursor, the July 1980 issue. Be turned off by this game's primitive graphics. If you have a chance, you should play it. The video that I make here is only about 5 minutes long, but you're able to play a game very quickly, as you can see. I had a good time playing this. And in the mid-1980s, I used to play a type-in game very, very similar to this, probably even more primitive because it was written for the TRS-80 Model 3, and that system only had black and white graphics, and it couldn't even do graphics really. It just, they were very simple. And I used to play that game in typing class. That was in about 1984 or something like that. I had fun with the alternate TRS-80 version of the game, and playing a few games of Sideswipe made me realize that in some strange way this game holds up to this day. Maybe it's because it's so simple, or maybe it's because the game doesn't take long to play, which gives it just that one more go factor. For someone who hasn't played any basic games before, it's probably hard to fathom how anyone, at any time, could have fun playing a game so simple as this one. The power of Sideswipe isn't that it's the best game on the Astrocade, or even the best game written for BASIC, but it does show a beginning BASIC user just what was possible for them to create on their own. They didn't have to depend on buying game cartridges, they could make their own games. I happened to get my highest Sideswipe score while I played this game to create this review. Have fun watching the video. You've already heard a little bit of background for this game, and I'm going to load it up right now. This is Sideswipe by WaveMakers, and I'm going to load it. The reason I do this is because most people don't have access to these games. This was originally printed in the AstroBASIC, or in Cursor, and then later in the AstroBASIC manual. So here we go. And the game. Here's your title screen. It takes about 20 seconds to load any AstroBASIC game. I played this a little earlier today. It's a very simple game. That's why it's a freebie. It's on 4 famous freebies, and that's the entire game. And you have a chance to score 100 points. And I'm going to actually try to crash on purpose. So that's a collision. If you hit something that's not a sideswipe, then it's a collision. I can press the trigger at any time to restart a game, and that's what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to play for real. And it's completely random. I'm using the knob to move back and forth. Like, I'm not going to be able to make it. You can basically move over a little bit at a time. That's it. Is this a fantastic game? No. Is this a pretty neat game that you could have typed in yourself from either Cursor, or if you just picked up an Astrocade, it would have been pretty interesting to have this and type it in. And there's nothing complicated about the game. Everything is drawn with boxes. So the road's lane are drawn using the box command. Your own cars drawn using the box command. There's a few random elements. I think, if I remember, this program is like 20-something lines long. Not very long at all. I'm doing okay. I think my high score in this game is 88 out of 100. And basically, you start off with 100 points. If you don't crash at all, which I've never managed to do, then you would end up with 100 points. If you crash a few times, you get points taken off each time. And as you can see, the game moves very slowly, and it's not a great example of what can be done in the Astrocade, but it is a great example of someone who's never programmed before learning what they can do on the Astrocade and what is possible in BASIC. And this is something I think any user who put in any amount of time could have done. That's your final score for the game. I'm going to reset the game by pressing the trigger and starting it again. Let's see if I can beat 75 points. The game has pretty good sound effects. I mean, for a basic game, it's just a drone, kind of. I'm using the knob to control I was going to say my ship, but my car. And that's pretty cool. Unlike how the knob normally works, you don't have, it has analog control, obviously, but basically you either move left or right or straight with your knob. So basically, not quite extreme left makes you move left, not quite extreme right makes you move right. And if you sort of center the knob, then the knob, for anyone who's never owned an Astrocade before, is basically a paddle like you'd see on the Atari 2600. So that's as simple as the game is. It's just boxes being drawn. It's I think it's just scrolling using because you're printing at the bottom of the screen, so everything scrolls up automatically. I'm not sure how it's doing collision detection. This should be kind of a fun game to look at. Maybe when the game is over, I'll actually print it to the screen, and then we'll get to take a look at it together. My final score is 97. Well, that is my best score. So that's the game. I'm going to now halt it, and I'm going to list it. And we'll see the whole thing as it goes. Any line, like line number 1 that starts with a period, that means it's a comment. So it's like if you've used other BASIC statements, those are remarks. If anyone's familiar with BASIC, some of these terms may not be familiar unless they do AstroBASIC, because I guess they're similar to other BASICs, but AstroBASIC only has a limited number of keywords, but the ones that it does have are pretty useful. Well, they're all useful, I guess. So as you can see, line 21 has the box command used in different ways, and it says box C. So the C is a variable that's being used for random locations. So that's it. That's the entire program. Nothing more to it than that. Thanks for watching.